feeling deep inside. Got a lot to hide. The curse of pride. Whether it be indigo, deep blue eyes. The curse of pride. Whether sepia tones or indigo eyes. You're on a self-harm zone. The stone cold alone. We're on that self-harm zone. Oh, you're stone cold alone. The curse of pride. You're buried as a little deep inside your mind. The curse of pride. Got a lot of pain to hide. Baby, sepia tone eyes, or indigo blue at the sunlight. Got a lot to hide. Your past a little deep in your mind. Curse of pride. You got a lot to hide from your inside. Whether it be indigo blue or sepia tone truth. Don't know which way you want to do. Got the spell on your mind, ready to be done true. Curse of pride. You bury it all deep inside. You don't want to look in my eyes. But I spell deep in your mind. Curse of pride. Whether it be sepia tone or indigo eyes. You got so much to hide. Don't dare look in my eyes. You don't wanna lie. You're living a lie. The fire won't ignite when you're holding it down all night. Firefighting that fire in your eyes. That burn burns to daylight. You extinguish it with your mind's eye. That burn burns in the daytime, but you extinguish it with mind's eye. Whether it be indigo blue or sepia tone true. Whether it be indigo blue. Got that sepia tone true. The curse of pride. Oh, you're always got something very something to hide. The curse of pride. Whether it's sepia tone or indigo blue. Always gonna be hiding for the truth. Always gonna be looking for that you. Look for that you in you, but oh, you're only buried truth. Inferno burns during daylight. We extinguish it when it is my light. You can't tell the truth. You're deep in that indigo mood. You're deep in that indigo blue. The curse of pride. I'd rather bury it all inside. I feel something to hide. I'm burning, burning, burning all night. Extinguish that light. 'Cause that curse of pride. Extinguish that light. You're living at night, even at daytime. You're living at night, even in my life. You're not right. Oh, you let that burn all night. And then you say, oh, you got something to hide. Better still out deep in your mind. Bury all the time. daylight. You gonna let it go tonight, or you let that inferno burn you out in daytime. You let it burn you out, alright, or you ain't gonna give up tonight. The curse of pride, gonna let it burn and you all night. The curse of pride, you gonna let it burn all your bridges down tonight. Why'd you put the blame on Miss Josephine? Put the blame on me.
This is Bam Electric Ghost, and we're talking about our latest releases on Bentley Records. We put out 4 singles this week, and we created a playlist on Spotify called The Curse of Pride, which is one of the songs that we've released on Bentley. Now, The Curse of Pride is a song we've intended to release on our album from Bentley Records called Dark Ghost Violets. The Curse of Pride is a piano-focused song, kind of like a couple of songs we've done in the last couple of years. We did a song called Fragile. We've done a song called Wanton Hex. If you follow us on our SoundCloud and on Anchor FM. But The Curse of Pride, what is different about this song is we used our Arturia Mini Brute 2S and its ability to do a looping envelope. And in that capability, this analog synthesizer, we have the 2S, which is the sequencer-focused machine without the keyboard that we have within the Arturia 6U Eurorack solution. And it has the ability to become a drum machine. And the drums you're hearing are analog synthesis being done through a looping envelope on the Arturia Mini Brew 2S. Now, for those of you that aren't into Eurorack or subtractive synthesis, that might kind of go over your head. But the overall idea is this synthesizer, this analog synthesizer, can be like a Moog drummer from another mother or like an 808. It can do percussive sounds. And so we took advantage of its ability to do this percussive sound with the oscillators. And it has a state variable filter that allows you to do control of that sound to make it act like a drum group or act like an 808 or act like a TRS-8. And so we used that beat to kind of inform what we were going to create. And then we write in a very kind of jam band focused concept that we will let our analog synths and Euroracks talk to us, and we'll come up with a riff or a drum beat. In this case, we came up with these the syncopation happening on the Arturia, and then we came up with the piano lines. After we put down these piano lines, the kind of idea of this curse of pride came to us. And the curse of pride kind of comes from the same feelings that created the song Fragile or the song Dark Ghost, Souls Never Move Toward. These are all songs about the loss of a relationship or of a partnership. They all relate to my concept that I've been talking about, this sonic twin. Was a partner, I had a musical partner that I fell in love with, and we broke up, and we had a whole project together, and the thing just, I fucked it up, and I screwed it up, and, I've been dealing with the loss of it ever since. But the curse of pride kind of talks about, well, it's the pride that caused me to direct the relationship. So it's something that happened. I felt somehow there was a slight that I felt, and I kind of just threw the relationship away because of my pride. I felt more than what the other person felt. I felt hurt by that. I felt that the person, just kind of didn't feel as much as I felt. And eventually I decided, well, I'm putting too much into this and it's not ever going to come back at the level I want. So I just can't handle just being friends with this person. So it was the whole prideful issue, and I put it into song, and this song is the result of that, which we feel is a really, it's a powerful statement. And sometimes you can take pain in your own personal relationships and turn it into a statement. We feel it's got that jazz feel that we've got some of our songs, and so that's the lead off of this collection. And then the other song that we have that we think is a really good example of kind of like pain-based writing or emotional-based writing is the song Deep Drown Blue. Now, Deep Drown Blue, we had some issues with this song initially. We didn't know if we were going to actually, include it on Dark Ghost. Violence. We kept on going back and forth on whether or not it was right, because it is a creation of the drummer from another mother, the DFAM. We spent a lot of time playing with the DFAM and getting that kind of repetitive beat. And the thing about the DFAM is it can produce a lot of simultaneous beats with the two oscillators. And so I've got a lot of simultaneous beats, or we would call it I think you call it a multi-layered kind of thing. I think there's another word for it that escapes me, but the percussion is multifaceted. In some places, it might get a little too loud because I switch from oscillator one to both oscillators running, which is a way you can get different sounds that come out of the DFAM. And then the other thing that's going on, it's got this kind of synthwave Roland pad, a polyphonic pad. It's got kind of a new age, kind of new romantic sound, like a Cure-ish kind of structure. And that gives the kind of heart of the song. And then the Josephine Electric lyric is basically this idea of this character we've created, a couple characters. So we have Josephine Electric, who's in love with the rooftop dude, which is a character we created and we've talked about before. There's this concept of a flip on the drifters up on the roof. They have this guy, there's a rooftop dude. He's very desirable from the aspect of Stephanie and her sister. Josephine are very much in love with this guy, and also a woman named Mediterranean Blue, who is a character in a rock opera I call September, that it's also available on SoundCloud. So Mediterranean Blue kind of represents this kind of Greek mythology princess queen who's this kind of like a siren of sadness. She is super beautiful, but she radiates this blue sadness represented by the Mediterranean. Her name is Mediterranean Blue, kind of overemphasis on the blue. That she's like, in blue represents her eternal sadness, and it's very alluring. It's very sensual. It's very sexual. And it draws people in. So the rooftop dude is drawn in by Mediterranean Blue. Josephine and her sister are drawn into the rooftop dude, and they're just, everybody's falling for this rooftop dude. But then Josephine realizes he's just using them, and then she actually, Josephine's bisexual, and she's like also very enamored with Mediterranean Blue, and she kind of proposes to Mediterranean Blue, why don't we just tell this rooftop dude to go back to California, go get screwed, and we'd like, why don't we just fall in love with each other? Why don't we just love each other and drop this guy because he's hurting us, and we could have a better relationship if we just go after each other. But it seems like they won't drop him, and they're both kind of playing games, and in their relationship, they're fighting to be who's going to be the most, the craziest person who try to pull his affection. And who's going to be, we're kind of they're hurting each other. They're being very lewd. They're very lewd and crude, and they're just doing all these things to one up each other. And that's what the whole song is like. They're drowning in blue because they keep on going after this guy, and it's not really helping them. And then the song "Eye Candy" is just Josephine is doing this romp where she's basically saying that she's the most sensual, addictive, drawing, person in the room. That everyone is drawn to her. That she is the it girl in the modern synthwave world, and she is everything that everybody wants. And that's all I can say about that song is that she's just eye candy, and she's just like more than what you can handle. Then PLUR Daisy, Pure Daisy, is a song that's kind of like another version of eye candy. Is like she's just kind of focusing that she's like an EDM princess, and she's the electric daisy. She's the pure like vamp PLUR woman that when she goes to the rave, she is going to be electricity incarnate, and she's everything about the rave. And so these songs are all part of a playlist we've included. They're all on all the streaming services, but specifically on Spotify, you can listen to them. And we would encourage you to download them on Amazon and iTunes and all the streaming services. Please download and share with your friends. And if you dig what we're doing, please subscribe to our channel, become a supporter. If you're in a band, get in touch with us on our Instagram, which is expansive_sound_experiments. You can send us a voice memo through Anchor FM, and we can schedule a free call. But like everything, it's not exactly free, but there are ads that we run, so you have to listen to them. And if you want to become a supporter of the podcast, we're willing to take your money in that way. So if you want to become a supporter or you want to become a sponsor, check out the link, and we'll talk to you later.
electricity. Oh, why don't you pick up on that power? Why don't you pick up on it each and every hour? It's so electricity. Just feel that fantastic electricity. Why don't you pick up on a baby like me? Why don't you pick up on a little woman and feel free? You don't have to feel in the grace of that disease. Why don't you pick up on a little woman like me? You want a power? Why don't you pick a flower? Why don't you go and feel me each and every hour? Just wanna flirt, baby like me. You wanna feel how it is to be free. Are you in the grips of that disease? Or do you only hear it like a company? There are people that want you to bleed. Just make a flower in a thorn like me. And might bleed on your security. Why don't you think about it for a woman like me? Why don't you pick up on a flower? Why don't you feel my power? Why don't you pick up on a flower? Why don't you pick up on my power each and every hour? Don't you wanna feel a daisy like me? Don't you want to feel a clear baby like me? Don't want to feel my petals? Why don't you push it around? I told you you gotta be free. Don't you pick up on a clear woman like me? Oh yeah, I'm talking to you. Oh yeah, I'm just talking to you. I'm just talking to you. And you know I want to do that too. Oh, Josephine talking to you. Yeah, you know I want to do that too. Oh, Josephine's talking to you. Just not leave. This is my time. Oh, just come in here. I know you want it. See, there's nothing to fear. I know you want it. Nothing to fear. I know you want it. There's nothing to fear. I know you want it. There's nothing to fear. I know you want it. There's nothing to fear.
This is Pam Electric Ghost, and we're going to talk about a song that we were kind of hesitant on putting out on our new project called Dark Ghost Violence. It's one of the first songs we actually were working on for the new idea of this Dark Ghost album. And originally we were going to put it on Dark Ghost Volume 1 that we were trying to get on onto actually a vinyl record, Digger's Factory Records, but then that we didn't get enough funding for that, so then we kind of dropped it, and then we were kind of wondering, about the mix on it, because this is a song that is an analog song that uses the Moog DFAM, which is the drummer from Another Mother, and we had kind of created a very infectious, repetitive beat that's easy to do on a DFAM. If you just have a single DFAM, you only have like 8 steps on a CV controlled analog sequencer that doesn't have any kind of MIDI. And so you have to use pitch, and you have to use, kind of the actual tempo to control the actual sequence with these little dials. And there's other things you can do. We found that we can use the map from Maps Control Module from Make Noise. But in this particular song, we've got this very repetitive beat that then we took like a polysynth sound. It's a very 80s polysynth kind of Cure Depeche Mode, New Romantic type of pad that we got off our Roland Juno, and it has that kind of Cure feel again. It's like that, the head in the door kind of sound, at least from a pad sound perspective. And then our Josephine Electric voice, we've got her, she's a female lead singer of band Electric Ghost, but we've got her sounding very, very sensual, very feminine. It's something that I work on all the time to try to bring out her vulnerability. This particular song, it talks about her being in love with two different people, a male and a female. So she's in love with a character we called Mediterranean Blue. Mediterranean Blue is a character from a play, like a sonic play we call September. And she's this like, she's kind of a Greek mythology-inspired character that represents like eternal sadness. So like she's kind of got siren aspects from the Iliad, but she's this like very beautiful woman that's like got dark hair and wears long flowing dresses and gowns, but she has this like sadness about her that's very alluring, and people get drawn into it, and it's very sexy and it's very sensual, and she's a very deep character. She's got a lot of passion, and so Josephine falls in love with her, or started to fall in love with her, because what's going on is both Josephine and Mediterranean Blue are in love with the same dude. So there's a guy that they're in love with from California, and he, is a rooftop dude. And this rooftop dude, it's kind of this idea we talked about. We came up with a couple of songs that they talk about this rooftop dude. It's kind of like this idea from the Drifters that, you get like up on the roof, you're going to have this romantic liaison with your lover. And it's going to be kind of like a very, 50s kind of experience. You're going to be out like on a blanket, having a picnic or whatever on the roof, and you're having a liaison. It's kind of like, up on the roof. It's kind of like on the boardwalk. The Drifters came up with these songs about these romantic tryst or liaisons that are happening like on a roof or under the boardwalk, whatever you're with your lover doing it. But the idea with the rooftop dude is like, okay, with a rooftop dude in our world, taking this idea that the Drifters had, but he's actually flipping it, and he's kind of a dangerous individual. He's very insensitive. He's not very caring. He's going out with Mediterranean Blue. He's going out with Josephine, and he's kind of playing up for fools. And Josephine is talked about that in the song that they basically, he's cruel, and he's making Josephine. She feels like Josephine, like that the Mediterranean Blue and her are both in competition for this guy, for this rooftop dude, and they're being lewd and they're being crude and they're kind of, they're not respecting themselves by being so drawn to this guy. And then Josephine starts to say like, well, maybe I really should be in love with Mediterranean Blue, but then Josephine's bisexual, and she's like, I find Mediterranean Blue maybe even more alluring than the rooftop dude, and maybe we should drop this rooftop dude and go back to California and go get screwed. And that's the line. It's like, we come to go back to California, and maybe the whole truth is that we should be in love with each other. And so, but the idea is like, this whole thing is causing them to be very melancholy, and they're going to deep drown in the blue sadness of this kind of tragic, relationship. It's like this whole triage. It's like this tryst between these three lovers, and they're kind of star-crossed, and we feel it's got this kind of new romantic, like pure sound, which also brings in this idea of sadness, kind of the goth type of sadness. And then the idea of Mediterranean Blue being these long gowns, and she's got the dark black hair, and then Josephine has got her whole vibe that she, this dominatrix wearing these like leather bound, you know, thigh high boots and 6-inch heels and just the very, chokers and the dark makeup. The whole idea that it's very 80s, it's very, Victorian. It's got some new romantic ideas to it. It's got the whole idea of like this like bisexuality, this idea of being kind of gender bending, and we find the song really interesting, and we finally decided, what, we're gonna put this as part of Violence. We really like it. We were on the fence about it for a while. We've been listening to it. Sometimes we do this. We go back and we look at a track, and sometimes we have some hesitation about it, and then we go back and think about it and say, oh, you know what, I really like this track. And it takes us a little bit to think about it. It takes us a little bit to kind of go back and look at it. We'll put it on the shelf and then come back to it. So we're going to see the kind of magic that Bentley Engineering can do to it to bring it up to the quality to release. We've put it on our SoundCloud. We've released some videos that are on our Instagram channel, which is expansive_sound_experiments. That's expansive_sound_experiments. We've been putting lots of videos on there. We've been getting pretty good. Getting about 200 views per video now on a lot of our videos on Instagram, and we also have it on YouTube. It's interesting on YouTube. We get 200 views on Instagram. We get 10 views on YouTube. YouTube is kind of a hard nut to crack. We've been working on it for a while. Our SoundCloud, we do pretty good. We've got hundreds of plays to thousands of plays on certain songs on SoundCloud. And then our Bentley records, which are available on all streaming services, Tidal, Spotify, YouTube Music, and/or Apple Music, Apple iTunes, which is going away. But we've got all of our songs out there. Please stream them. If you're a real fan of the Ghost, please download our records on Amazon and Apple and purchase them. And then also, if you're a real fan of the Ghost, you could give us some support by being a supporter at 99 cents a month, or $4.99, or $9.99. Again, we will provide private links from our SoundCloud library of our deep tracks that we have. We've got full albums. We've got all kinds of stuff. We've also got Bandcamp albums that we can provide information links on. So check it out. We've got a lot of material. We've got over 1,800 songs we've written in the last 10 years. And we're working towards the album Dark Ghost Violence will be on Bentley Records. And we're hoping that we're going to make a final track list decision sometime this month. And we'll be talking to some other folks on Anchor FM where we interview bands. So if you're a band, or you're an actor, or you're a producer, or you're a model, get in touch with us again through Anchor voice memo or through our Instagram, which is again expansive_sound_experiments. And if you want to be interviewed, check us out. As always, if you really like us, please support us by becoming a subscriber or a supporter. We do offer the ability to run ads on our podcast, and you can look into that option that we can provide an actual segment ad. That right now we're at 19,700 fans who have listened to us since 2008. That's again 19,700, and we're averaging about 1,000 to 2,000 plays a month on our podcast, which is on 11 platforms, including Spotify and Apple Music, Radio Public, Stitcher, and many, many more. So check us out, and we thank you for being a Fam Electric Ghost listener, and we'll talk to you later.
This is Fam Electric Ghost, and this episode is Peg, Trance It Up, PLUR, Daisy, Pure Daisy. Now, this song is a song we wrote probably like 2 years ago. And Josephine, we were getting into like trance and Josephine Electric, my alter ego, who's the lead singer of Phantom Electric Ghost, who we create using a Roland vocoder. And at the time, we were using the JDXI soprano vocoder, or the vocoder in soprano mode to create her voice. And the whole story there, which we've talked about before, is I got a JDXI so I could introduce vocals into my music. And for years, I had done music, expansive sound experiments on SoundCloud for years, from like 2008 onward, where I just had these expansive sound experience paintings with no vocals. But then when I purchased the JDXI, I bought it with the specific reason of using the microphone to see if we could introduce vocals. I didn't like my male voice, so I played with different settings. I got the kind of Darth Vader Formant voice. It was a little too crazy, and the vocoder was too robotic. Sounded like Transformers. So then I was playing with the pitch, and I found the soprano mode on the JDXI. It's actually a soprano mode. And when I found that mode, and I had my headphones on, I heard Josephine's voice coming out. And I said, that was a revelation. I could take that female voice, which sounded very sultry because I had this kind of bass voice. And then when I put it through the JDXI, it created this female that was pretty sexy. She kind of represents sex, and that's where the whole idea of her becoming like a PLUR daisy, that she was, she's this alluring dominatrix, sex goddess is how we played her from the start. We had all kinds of songs where she got into all kinds of situations. And the thing is, Josephine's a ghost. But Josephine's into rave culture. She's the lead singer of an electronic synthwave band, Phantom Electric Ghost. And, she's all wrapped up in leather and dealing with, political electronic music like Something Wicked, but she also gets into funk and EDM and trance grooves. And this song is a pure trance groove. It's probably the biggest trance groove we ever did. We kind of put it on the shelf. We never really promoted it. And now that we're with Bentley Records, we've just sent it to be engineered, and we really are digging it. We remastered it. And we're it's got to get re-engineered by Bentley, and we're excited about it. We put a video up for it on YouTube and Instagram. We had some pretty good reception on it, and it's just weird. Sometimes we go back and we find something. In the last year, we found a couple of songs that were keepers that are going to end up being on Dark Ghost Violets, something like when Miss Electric Comes to Town, or She's Got the Naz, or Dark in the Night in Which We Bleed. These are older songs. Even the Interconnected Biology of All Living Things, that's an older Phantom Electric Ghost song. It's like when we did the album with All Control K, To Infinitum, Rock Noodle 2 is a very old Phantom Electric Ghost song. It's one of the original sound paintings that we just did on a Juno. And we used the Juno GI's multi-track recording capability to build that song. That song was totally built inside of a Juno GI. And then it was brought down to a Zoom R16 digital recorder, but it was primarily recorded within the capabilities of the Juno. We originally bought the GI because we didn't have a recording solution. And we used to just use the Roland GI to record albums. And we recorded Something Wicked, Indigo Menace, and Synesthesia totally using the Juno. And then we brought it into the R16, and then we mastered it on Landau. But that is what we used to do. And we used to go through TuneCore, but now we're actually going through Bentley Records, and we've put out like an EP through Mojo Heads. We still have some Personal Demons to Portray, which is doing very well. It's probably the strongest single we've had in a while. Though we have some singles that we put out on Landar and SoundCloud that have hit, thousands of hits previously. But that song from Mojo Heads, You still have some personal demons to portray is actually performing very well this year. Though I would say that on SoundCloud, it's interesting that the song that has performed the best. Yeah, so this is continuing. Sometimes we have a segment that kind of stops abruptly. So we were talking about one of the songs that performed pretty good this year. And on SoundCloud, one of the best performing songs we've had is interesting is Analog is New Punk, which has had over 849 plays. It's interesting when we put it out on Bentley, we haven't hit that many plays, at least on Spotify. But when we initially put it out there on SoundCloud, it's almost got 1,000 plays, which is really interesting. You never know. When people have something, it's weird. The algorithms on the different platforms, you don't know what causes people to look at things or not. But on SoundCloud, that is a very high performance song. It's one of our highest performance songs in the last couple of years. And then we put it out, and it's not performing as well as it did on SoundCloud, but you never know why. But then Pure Daisy is a real sonic experience. The whole idea of expansive sound is that we do hardware synth recording, and we do it without a DAW. And we use kind of an old school technique of originally when we started recording back in the day, we had a Roland D5 and a Korg sequencer. And then we used a Tascam 4-track recorder to take the results of the sequenced sounds. And what was cool is the D5 was like a dumbed down version of the D50. And it had linear synthesis. It had this really nice sound. It wasn't as powerful as a D50, but it had some of those D50 sounds, and it had a really multi-trimble capability that when you linked it to a sequencer, you could get it to do a lot of songs. So back in the day, and this is back when I was going to school at Bowdoin College, in 1987, I had this D5. And then I got a Tascam 4-tracker. And then I got this Korg sequencer that used these little mini discs. And I used to use that sequencer to build songs. And I built soundscapes. I used to perform at the Bowdoin College pub, and I would do songs, and people said I sounded kind of like Tangerine Dream. And, I was kind of shooting for that. That's what I was always trying to do. And I've always been inspired by, a lot of different things. I was talking to somebody I'm going to interview pretty soon this next week. And, my reference points are all over the map, from Bowie to Hush Kadu to Mingus to Sun Ra to Prince to Hendrix to Duane Allman, Johnny Cash. So that shows you I'm kind of all over the map. I mean, I like Ben Folds, I like Billy Joel, I like Elton John, but then I like Joy Division, I like Flock of Seagulls, I like The Replacements, I like the Velvet Underground. I love Alex Chilton and Big Star. So I'm kind of all over the place. And when it comes to like synthesizer music, I like the Peter Gabriel Genesis and Yes, probably like Fragile and Close to the Edge. I think Close to the Edge is probably my favorite progressive album of all time. And then maybe The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway from Genesis. I love that album. I'm actually probably a bigger fan of the Peter Gabriel Genesis than Emerson, Lake and Palmer, is because some of those ideas that Peter Gabriel had seem more coherent. And I mean, Emerson, Lake and Palmer is a great band, but I just like the way that Tony Banks and Peter Gabriel and the whole crew actually really fleshed together. And they did this really interesting progressive rock that wasn't super popular, but it's actually very interesting. If you listen to like Watcher in Disguise, or you listen to Selling England by the Pound, or there's a lot of interesting songs. And that's where I kind of come to, where in the modern world, everybody's going into DAWs and trying to create EDM with the drop. And they've kind of lost the idea of progressive electronic music. When Moog actually built these modes, we have a Mother 32 and we have a DFAM. And we have a Archery MIDI Brute 2S. And we have a System 1M. So we've got like analog behavioral modeling plus true analog synths and digital synths like the Juno and the JDXI. But the whole idea of using analog synths is they kind of give you something different every time you approach them, and you can take that variability or unexpected sonic capability and create new material. We tend to write when we're back at home base. We could probably write 5 songs a day. Sometimes we write 5 songs, at least 5 songs a week. Now that we're doing this day gig where we're in Maine, away from our New Hampshire location, last week we only produced 2 songs. But if you look at a lot of bands, they have a hard time producing 1 song in like 2 months. So not to come down on people, but I just am a very musical person and I write a lot. And if you check the quality of the stuff I write, it's pretty good for the amount of stuff I write. And it's varied. I don't always repeat myself. Sometimes I go back, like this song goes back like 2 years, and I go back and look at something and then kind of get fresh eyes on it. Or, but a lot of times I'll do a lot of heavy experimentation because of my analog synths. I can do tape loops. I can do sampling. I've got a Teenage Engineering OPZ, which is amazing. We did 1 song with the sampler. We haven't really heavily tried it. We've got to look at the Cuckoo video. We saw a video, I'm sorry, on how to use it, but we haven't really dived into it. You do have to seem like you really have to use the iPhone with it, and I haven't had the time to really sit down and fully digest how to actually do the workflow on it. But I got some cool ideas, and I love this. One of the other things I want to do with the OPZ is get the CV module so I can actually have it drive my mode. Because the sequencer on the OPZ is incredible. I love it. It's a really intuitive sequencer. It's very easy to build songs. We built 2 albums on that OPZ. The Flower Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb and Wretched Symphony No. 8. And we were able to build those songs, and a bunch of Violet songs actually have the base of them are OPZ tracks. The OPZ is very easy to build drums and kicks and bass lines, and it's really cool how it actually records everything into these separate tracks. The only thing I would really like it to do is be able to produce a WAV file, and produce tracked files that you can actually output, which I'm not sure if the USB version of it that has USB MIDI, if they've created a capability to do that. I would like to see them update it. And I would actually like to see them take the OPZ and make a bigger version. I know the whole appeal of it is that it's small, but its workflow is very interesting. And if it could actually generate files like a Zoom R24 or R16 that were separated, it would be a very powerful machine. I would probably prefer it in some ways to an Akai, just because I like hardware sense and I like the idea of having a keyboard on something and actually really being able to do it. So an OPZ can have MIDI keyboards and you can do a lot of cool things with it. But that's been a big thing because I've been looking at like the Akai Force, and the fact that I'm on the road, it is a good solution if you're sitting in a hotel room and you want to put things together. However, I really love my analog synths, and I would probably prefer to do like what I might do is get like a Micro Freak, get an Arturia little keyboard solution, a key step, and then maybe go get a collection of the Roland Boutique modules, like the fully analog SEO2, the fully digital DO5, which is a replication of the D50. So we're really looking at the Boutique with our first module. We really look at which is like a DO5, because the D505 has got really good reviews. It's actually better than the D50 in some ways, in that it has every single patch that was ever built for it, and it's actually very small, and it replicates the sound almost perfectly. So we'd probably get the bigger key step, not the small one, but the bigger one, the one that costs like $200. Get that key step, and then have a DO5. Probably have our task our Zoom R24, and then maybe get the boutique SEO2 for analog sound, and then get the actual drum machine module for the drums. And we look at the SH101A, and there's a good reason to get that too. But if we're going to be recording, we'd want to, the LPZ gives us a good drum machine. We could use that, but we would like to try. And what we heard is the boutique 808 actually could do a USB MIDI, where the one from Behringer doesn't have a USB MIDI. And sometimes this is where the argument of, oh, we want the full size one. Well, you know what? The boutique version of the 808, if you're working in a hotel or in a small apartment, the Roland module suddenly makes sense to be in small. Because all you got to do is go get yourself a key step, even the small one, and then use that as your main controller. And, our Zoom R24 is what we use instead of a DAW. And then we'll have the OPZ, and we have a little Yamaha mixer, but we probably bring our Yamaha mixer with a little converter to bring in the smaller lines. We do appreciate the MX1. We probably will bring the MX1 because all those things have USB audio. So we'll bring our MX1 mixer because we always like to use it as well. So we've got this whole idea of what we're going to do on the road. And we'll talk to you later. Just check out this song and check out The Ghost. We'll be putting this out probably on Bentley shortly. We are working on Dark Ghost Violets as our release of a full album for Bentley. We've been putting out singles since June, and we're going to continue to put the singles out, but we're working toward the full album for Bentley, which will be our Dark Ghost album. We decided we're actually going to call it Dark Ghost Violets. So we'll talk to you later.